Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm gonna answer one of our subscribers' questions which are related to working in tech. I find these questions very interesting and I thought some of you guys might have same questions in mind. So I thought of creating this video. And also, if you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Lucy and it's so nice to meet you and thanks for hopping by. And on this channel, I create videos about working in tech, working abroad, and working remotely. So if any of these topics interest you, make sure to join our community by subscribing to this channel. So let's dive in right away. So as you can see here, there are 5 questions that he or she asked. So let's talk about the first question first. So the first question is how to transition from sales from other industry to tech sales. And in his or her case, it is pharmaceutical. This is a brilliant question. I love this question. First of all, I want to mention that it is definitely possible to change industries. Even for me as well, I used to work in the hospitality industry, right? So I used to work for the airline company before I changed my career to the tech industry. So it is definitely possible. But the question now is how? How can we change our industries, right? So there are 2 approaches we can consider here. So the first approach that I recommend is finding companies in the industries that are related to the pharmaceutical industry. So when we think about it, the pharmaceutical industry is belong to the healthcare industry. And there are so many healthcare technology companies. The main reason why I recommend this approach is because the expertise that you have after working in the pharmaceutical industry can definitely be valued in the healthcare industry, right? Because you probably know how the pharmaceutical industry works, how the healthcare industry works in general, and also you probably know how to work with maybe hospitals or clinics, right? And that can be really valued in the healthcare industry. And the second approach that I recommend is actually the one that I did when I transition my career from the hospitality industry to the tech industry. So what I did was I leveraged the specific skill of mine, which I developed by working in the hospitality industry as a sales rep. So when I was working for the airline company, my main responsibility was working closely with the travel agencies, right? So it was B2B sales role. So when I was looking for a job in the tech industry, I was looking for a B2B role where I need to work closely with channel partners like distributors and resellers, right? Because I know how to build and maintain relationships with partners to close sales deals. So this is the approach that worked for me, and these are 2 different approaches that I recommend and hope this answers your question. So now let's talk about the second question. Okay, the second question is about joining a startup, right? So how can we choose companies and what are my thoughts of joining a startup with less than 3 years? This again is a brilliant question. So first of all, I love working for startups. I think it's really cool. So in my tech sales career, I worked for different types of startups. So I worked for a small startup with less than, I think, 15 employees or 20 employees. And also I worked for a startup in Series D. And also I worked for a very, very fast growing startup that went IPO a year before I joined the company. So it was very, very fast growing company. And they are now doing so great. It's one of the best companies that I worked for in my career. So these are the 3 types of startups that I worked for. But in general, the pros and cons of working for startups will be, for example, pros will be there is, growth potential for you to grow within the company. For example, let's say you join a startup with less than 3 years, maybe they have 20 employees, right? And then maybe a year later or maybe 2 years later, the company grew so much and now the company has like over 100 employees or 150 or 200 employees. And now because you were one of the first employees when they were a small company, probably you can be promoted faster, right? So there is a growth potential for you as well. But there are also cons as well. The main cons, especially compared with working for a big tech company, would be your job security, right? Especially for startups who are operating their businesses based on the funding they are raising, right? Maybe to sustain their business, they need to keep raising funds, right? And if they can't raise funds, then it's related to your job security to a certain extent as well, right? So, I mean, there are pros and cons, but it really depends. So my recommendation is before joining a startup, I highly recommend doing enough research about the company. Okay, so who are the investors? Have they raised funds? What stages are they in? Are their products innovative? Do you really believe in their products, etc.? That would be my number one recommendation. But overall, I love working for startups. You learn so much by working for startups. So I recommend, but you just need to choose the right one. Okay, moving on. Question number 3. This is again a great question as well. First of all, a lot of companies these days, especially tech companies, they allow employees to work 100% remotely or hybrid, right? A lot of companies do that these days. And if for me, I think it really depends on person, right? Some people prefer working in the office or hybrid or 100% remote. It really depends on everyone's different personality. My short answer is I don't think a company is a red flag because they don't allow employees to work 100% remotely. But it would be definitely nice if company at least allows employees to work hybrid model, right? Maybe like 3 days at home, maybe 2 days in the office, or maybe once a week, right? Every Friday, everyone comes to the office, we get to know each other, we hang out, right? That could be nice too, but again, it really depends on everyone's personality. So we can find companies that really fit our personalities. So that would be my answer. Hope this was helpful. Moving on, question number 4. This is again a great question. This question is about how do we choose the types of tech sales. Okay, first of all, I already created a video where I talk about 7 different types of tech sales roles in this video. So definitely check it out if you haven't yet. However, I think what he or she is asking here is not really about the specific tech sales roles, but I think it's more about the industry that is really good for us. So, okay, I have 2 different ways of answering these questions. Okay, the first way of answering this question is, okay, first of all, I think it is really great to join a company that is in a booming industry. For example, right now, blockchain, AI, Web3, these are the booming industries, right? So that means more jobs are going to be in demand in these industries. And if you have experience in AI, blockchain, or Web3, then there are many companies that you can actually consider in the future. And you're going to be valued by many companies. So that is one of the reasons why I recommend joining a company in a booming industry. But that's not all, right? Another way of answering this question is it is as equally as important as joining a company that is in the industry that I have at least a bit of interest or passion for. From my experience, when I joined a cybersecurity company, I didn't have any knowledge or expertise in this industry, but I have a bit of idea. I wasn't sure if I would like it, but I joined the company and I really loved it, right? So I really, became to have more interest in cybersecurity, and because of that, I wanted to learn more. I wanted to study cybersecurity more, and I wanted to develop my skills and expertise in the cybersecurity industry, right? So that actually helped me become better at talking about cybersecurity with my customers, right? So in my opinion, it is a great idea to join a company in a booming industry. It is really great, but at the same time, it is as equally as important to join a company with a technology that you have interest and passion for, right? So yeah, that would be my answer, and hope this was helpful. Okay, next we have question number 5. This is a question related to team structure, and I hope I understood your question correctly. But to answer your question, usually you are gonna have a direct reporting manager. So for example, if you are an SDR, then you're gonna have an SDR manager, right? So let's say maybe your team consists of maybe 5 SDRs. You're gonna have your SDR manager who you're gonna directly reporting to, right? So that is usually how it is. Usually how the company structure is. However, sometimes if it's a small startup, maybe you don't have your SDR manager, your direct reporting manager. Maybe the manager you're gonna directly reporting to will be maybe very, very senior manager, maybe VP, right? that could happen as well. You know, maybe the VP oversees different departments, including yours as well. Then, you know, it's harder for you to kind of like approach him or her every single day, comparing to having SDR manager, your direct reporting manager, right? It really depends. So it's a little bit tricky question to answer. But if you have any follow-up question, make sure to comment down below so I can help answer your question. So this is it for today's video. I mean, these are the 5 great questions. I was really happy that you asked these brilliant questions, and I was happy to create this video to share my answers with everyone. So I hope this video was helpful for you. And if anyone is looking for a job in the tech industry, and if you have any questions, make sure to comment you know, down below. I can create another video to answer your questions as well. So yeah, thanks for watching today's video, and I will see you next week. Bye.